In the shadowed realm of the moonlit sea, where the stars danced upon the inky waves like shimmering jewels, a tale of treachery and greed unfurled. Captain Blackheart, a notorious pirate with a heart as black as the night sky, sailed the crimson seas aboard his cursed ship, the Banshee's Fury. His heart consumed by a lust for wealth and power, he led his loyal crew on a plundering spree, raiding ships and amassing a vast fortune in treasures untold, as the weight of their ill-gotten gains threatened to drag them down into the depths of their own avarice. Captain Blackheart devised a cunning plan to protect their bounty from the prying eyes of the law, telling his crew that they must bury their plunder on a remote island to safeguard it from the authorities who sought to reclaim their stolen riches. Under the flickering light of the lanterns, the crew toiled on the desolate shore, their shovels cutting into the earth with grim determination. And when the last chest was buried beneath the sandy soil, Captain Blackheart raised a toast to his loyal companions, his eyes gleaming with a malevolent glint that sent a shiver down their spines. As the crew drank deeply, a slow dread crept through their veins, their throats constricting with a suffocating grip. Horrific spasms racked their bodies, and cries of agony filled the night air as they collapsed to the ground, their faces contorted in torment. The captain stood over them, a twisted smile playing on his lips, his heart as cold and unforgiving as the abyss itself. With his treacherous deed complete, Captain Blackheart gazed upon the lifeless forms of his crew, their eyes dimmed with the cruel embrace of death. Without a hint of remorse, he buried their bodies in the sandy loam, a grim testament to the depths of his greed and betrayal. Returning to the mainland under the guise of a repentant sinner seeking redemption, Captain Blackheart spun a web of lies to the authorities, feigning innocence and contrition. He claimed that the Banshee's Fury had been lost in a violent storm, along with his entire crew and the ill-gotten treasure they had amassed. A convincing performance of remorse and false humility earned him a pardon for his crimes, his silver tongue dripping with honeyed lies that masked the darkness lurking in his heart. Once his pardon was secured and enough time having passed that the authorities were no longer on his trail, he was determined to claim the treasure for himself. Captain Blackheart set sail under the cover of night on a stolen sloop, the moon casting a ghostly pallor over the churning waters. Guided by the glimmer of the stars and the whispered promises of riches, he returned to the forsaken island where his sins lay buried beneath the sands of time. As the captain's weary hands gripped the shovel, the earth yielded reluctantly to his efforts, each scoop unearthing memories of betrayal and bloodshed. Hours stretched into eternity as he dug deeper into the cursed ground, his muscles aching with the weight of his sins and the burden of his greed. Finally, the glint of gold caught his eye, the treasure chest gleaming like a siren's call in the pale moonlight. With trembling hands, Captain Blackheart pried open the lid, his fingers brushing against the cold metal as visions of glory danced in his fevered mind. But as his hand closed around a fistful of gleaming coins, a chilling sound pierced the stillness of the night, sending a shiver down his spine. Slowly, he raised his eyes to the sight that awaited him, the ghoulish forms of his betrayed crew, their decayed flesh clinging to their bones like tattered rags, their eyes burning with a vengeful fury that chilled him to the core. With a guttural cry of terror, Captain Blackheart attempted to flee, but his exhausted limbs betrayed him, shackled by the weight of his sins. The ghastly apparitions descended upon him with an insatiable hunger, their spectral hands tearing at his flesh with a savage vengeance. In his final moments, the captain's screams of anguish mingled with the ghostly wails of his betrayed crew, a symphony of horror that echoed across the haunted seas. And so ended the tragic tale of Captain Blackheart, the cursed pirate whose greed and treachery led him down a path of darkness from which there could be no escape. As the moon waned and the stars faded into the dawn, the whispers of the crew carried the chilling reminder of his fate, a cautionary tale